Hello, I'm Mary V. Today, let's talk about bowing and how to get a nice, full, smooth bow. So often when people are playing, they start to become a little reluctant to play whole bows and they end up playing a lot of forearm strokes. Now that's absolutely fine, but there's so much more to the sound. And if you can release your arm to use fuller bows, then you're going to make the violin vibrate and produce thrilling sounds and more expression. So one of the reasons that there's a reluctance to come right up to the heel is because it engages the upper arm, and it's much easier just to use the lower arm just to play. Now you can see that my upper arm is moving, it's following what my forearm is doing. But in order to get up to the heel, the upper arm does something slightly different. Watch my upper arm now. Now you can see the action of the upper arm, especially when you play on the G string. The upper arm has got to be willing to rise up quite a bit, and a lot of people find that difficult. Now mechanically, the reason for that is because a stroke will start at the heel, and you're using the forearm and the upper arm at the beginning of the stroke. Then there comes a point where it's only the upper arm that is doing the stroke, and then the upper arm engages again in order to reach the tip. So those distinct changes in the arm and the way that the upper arm is engaged is what can cause lack of smoothness. So let's have a look at the mechanics again. So both the upper arm and the forearm, then the forearm, and then the upper arm again. Now all the time, the wrist is the crucial thing, because when the bow is at the tip, the wrist is accommodating that. If you see, the wrist is changing shape. Then when we come to the top, the wrist is accommodating that as well. And the wrist, although it remains rather, the arm remains straighter, but there is a bending and a movement of the wrist. It's very crucial, actually. The wrist must be very flexible, and the fingers must be flexible as well for the Franco-Belgian bow hold. So you can see that the upper arm has a definite place in the stroke in order for the wrist and the hand to do what they must do in order to cushion the change of bows. And then the first finger is the one The first finger here, this one, is the one that can apply pressure and make us play much louder, more loudly. So that's the mechanics of it, but let's go to a very simple exercise to get our bow arm working in a natural way that includes the forearm and the upper arm working together to produce the stroke. And it's very simply open strings. And what we're looking for here is curves. Curves, nothing angular at all for the different strings, but a curved movement down, a curved movement up, and to use the whole bow. And what we're looking for is smoothness and evenness of all the strings. So when I say evenness of the strings, I mean each one is exactly the same dynamic, so that you're learning to move the bow arm over the whole range of the strings from G, D, A, and E, and learning to compensate with the arm and the hand, the fingers, to make that stroke very even. And an example of an uneven stroke is this. Where it gets heavier or louder as the bow gets heavier. And what the violinist has to do is to learn to equalize the lighter parts of the bow with the heavier parts of the bow. Everyone knows that the frog is heavier than the tip. So if we take one note, say G, rather than lighten every single stroke as we come to the frog and make it very tiptoe, let's improve the sound as we go down towards the tip, so that we can equalize it that way, because there are many ways to do this. But for this exercise, let's start with a healthy dynamic, which is level of sound, and try to find out how to continue that all the way through to the tip. So that's the second exercise. And another great one, very, very simple, to get your bow arm very flowing, and for the upper arm to really enjoy taking part in a stroke, is simply to do up bows. Fast up bows with the end very high in the air. Like that. Like that. Now do be careful that the little metal bit on the frog doesn't catch the string on the way up, because it's pretty scary if it does that. So up bows, quite fast, and think about your arm making natural circles. And I think you'll find if you do this exercise, it will free up your arm remarkably. So hopefully you get on very well with that. Let me know how you get on. And next time, let's talk about bowing again. Bye for now.